This is a look at Microsoft on the 5-minute time frame. I'm going to show you the channel we are in for Thursday. I thought I would go over the stock because earnings have been reported. The company brought in $52.857 billion. The estimate was $51.019 billion, so not too shabby there. Congratulations if you've made some money off of this stock. Now, this is where we are. Above that takes us to VWAP, and that is $296.01. At 2 standard deviations, that is roughly 303.52. Above that, 309.75. And finally, at 4 standard deviations, we are talking roughly $315.98. Now, to the south side, a gap begins at roughly $294.43. The middle of the trend takes us to roughly $291.25. Negative 2 standard deviations is roughly $278.85. The gap closes out at $276.45. Below that, $272.62. And finally, at negative 4 standard deviations, roughly $266.26. A couple things to note. Here, this right here is resistance. We saw it go up, but then fall back down. Anytime we see a stock hit resistance, I do anticipate a sell-off as people take their profits and they run. So this area right here, resistance, and then look at this. We start to crater down to here, bounce off support, and this also happens to be earnings, which sent the stock upward. Now, I've tracked the stock multiple times in the past, but the 1-year price target on TradingView is $319.56. That represents an 8% return on your money. Of course, this is going to take a while to get there, but I just wanted to point that out. Some news on Microsoft here. Headlines: Microsoft and Alphabet earnings, battle for search supremacy begins. 2023 Q1 earnings, good enough, but not great. Now, the RSI, let's take a look at that, is at 44. And I do own this stock. I've owned it for quite some time, and I hope to get some more in the future, but right now it is pretty high. And that is a look at Microsoft on the 5-minute time frame. I want to quickly show you Chipotle. And just be aware of a gap that closes out at roughly 1780. What goes up must go down. And notice right here, this is resistance. The stock kind of goes down, consolidates here, but basically it's going down. And then this right here is support. And what happens at support? It bounces, people buy the dip, and then we hit this area pretty much close to resistance. And then now we fell down and are going sideways. The RSI right here is at 42. Notice the bounce after this zone right here of being oversold. And let's take a look quickly at Snow. It ended the day at $147.06, up more than 8.5%. Note the gap also to the downside. That begins at roughly 142.69, closes out at roughly 135.77. If it gets back down to here, I will anticipate another bounce up. And the RSI is at 47. I talked about Microsoft. Let's quickly take a look at Micron Technologies. I do own this stock as well. Beware of the gap to the downside. And that begins at roughly $59.45, closes out at roughly $58.38. And this gap right here did close out to the upside at roughly 61.07. And the day's high was roughly at 61.16. All right, that does it for me. If there is a stock that you would like me to go over, please let me know.